Thank you for joining me again for Innate Astrology. Hopefully, this week my voice is a little less hoarse and scratchy. The pollen seems to be leaving me alone for the time being. So, we're going to take a look at the energy for Sunday the 16th through Thursday the 20th of April. First, though, I did a card pull, as I have been doing lately before, for the energy of the week. And again, it fits so perfectly. I'm always amazed. I guess I shouldn't be after all of these years at how well the cards tell us what we need to know. Now, the Queen of Swords, we know, is someone who says what she means what she says. She does not settle for less than what she expects, and that is definitely the energy that we are moving into. It is going to be a week of very deep pondering, thinking on our parts, a lot of communication, very straightforward communication, looking at our experience as a whole and making some big decisions. The week will culminate with that second Aries new moon solar eclipse that is conjunct the North Node, Uranus, and squaring Pluto. So it is going to be a big week of culminations because that happens at the 29th degree of Aries, which is a degree of finality. Things will definitely be finished in a cycle of your life, and you'll be moving into something new. So, with the Queen of Swords, we're going to be doing a lot of thinking, possibly a lot of communicating. I would expect from the aspects we have going on, this is going to be a lot more about analyzing what we've been thinking about and getting focused on that, making some decisions within ourselves about direction and where we will want to be making changes as the weeks progress. Now, the Queen of Swords, she represents, as I mentioned, not settling for less than you want or settling for less than you deserve. And that is very much an energy that Venus in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces, and Pluto in Aquarius are promoting right now, helping us get very clear on what we want and desire in our lives. Now, the next four cards being reversed are actually very good. The Strength card in reverse simply means that it is time to let go of things that are blocking you, of any type of toxic behaviors or individuals, circumstances. It's time to really get focused and get that strength honed in on where you're using it to make the decisions that are coming to you. And we have next the Knight of Wands in reverse. And again, that supports the Strength in reverse card. The Knight of Wands in reverse is telling you don't be frivolous, don't be impetuous. You need to get your head clear, make some solid decisions, and move in a direction with purpose as opposed to making sudden decisions. You need to gather your information and get clear. Now, the Nine of Swords reverse is all about getting clarity. That is where finally things that have been making it difficult for us to possibly make commitments, make decisions, those things are going to be moving away, which the energy of the week very much supports. The removal of those blocks and that confusion or that lack of surety that has possibly prevented us from making decisions about circumstances in our life and what we need to change, what we want as opposed to what we have. And the final card being the High Priestess in reverse simply tells us that it is time to do the work. You are going to have to, again, get focused, get clear, let yourself make decisions and decide on directions. And trusting our intuition, of course, is always the best way to go. But if we've got too much going on in our mind, or there are things that are blocking and causing confusion for us, it's hard to do that. So we're going to get some clarity very much so this week and be able to do that with more confidence. Now, on the bottom row, you see the mice card upside down, reversed. Now, that is letting us know that all these little things that have been blocking us, that have been nibbling away at our success or getting in the way of us moving in the direction we want to move, those little things that plague us all, because it has certainly been a year of obstacles, well, a few years of obstacles, those things are going to start to move away. And the way will be cleared for us to really know where we need to go, what we need to move towards. And the next card is the mask in reverse. And the mask represents when things are not as they seem. So in reverse, again, it is representing clarity as the other cards in the top row have. We're going to be getting a lot of clarity after this solar eclipse, which the solar eclipse always brings things to light. So it is very fitting energy. The cards, the energy of the week go together perfectly. Now, the mountains next to it show that yes, we have all been facing obstacles, things that seemed insurmountable. But if you notice at the bottom of the card, there is a stag there, and he knows the way around, and so will we. The card next to it is the stars, and that is a card of receiving guidance, receiving messages, knowing through your intuition and feelings what is right for you and what the next steps are. So it is very supportive of all the other cards and the energy that we have this week. They do definitely go together brilliantly. Now, the last card is the birch broom and the whip. Normally, this would be a negative card. However, when it is with positive cards that show change and the onset of clarity, this simply says get your ducks in a row. It is time. It is time to get everything prepared for the changes that you want to make so that when it is time, you can trust your intuition to know and you'll be ready to move forward. So let's take a look at the energy that we have coming up for the 16th through the 20th. Okay, let's take a look at the energies of the week. We've been experiencing basically the same foundational energy since the first of the year. We're being asked to really tune into ourselves and look deeply at how we value ourselves, what we value in others, what we value in our life, what we want to change in our daily experience to make it more conducive to our authenticity, because that's really the key here is all this planetary energy is asking us to put down the mask and take the courage that the universe is supporting us with and present ourselves, our real selves to the world. When we do that, as I've mentioned in other videos, that's how we get on the path that is the path we are meant for. That's how we move away from people that are not quite right for us and that bring imbalance and lack of harmony to our lives. And we move away from experiences that we struggle with. When we are being fully authentic, we can easily move into a path that leads us towards what we truly want. We tend to be able to move away from struggle and find more success when we're being authentic and we're on the right path. It's such a common sense thing, but we all are led away from that by everything and everyone, it seems, that ends up around us. Okay, excuse me. Now, this energy that we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks is the Sun and Jupiter have been very close or conjunct in Aries. So it's really illuminating and expanding that individual experience. It's expanding our focus on ourselves and what we need and want, the changes that we need and want to make in our lives. And with that, we now have Venus in Gemini, which is allowing us to get some clarity on the relationships we have, relationships we'd like to have, our relationship to ourselves. Now, the North Node is in Taurus, of course, so that's very close to the Sun. Venus has just moved across it. So it's probably had all of us really looking at what we want to move towards. What is our future? What is our destiny? Are we on a path that feels right for us? Now, Uranus is there with the North Node, so there are energy is very much supporting sudden moments of understanding, of realization, sudden faded experiences or meetings with people that really change our life. They change our perspective on what we want, where we want to go, how we are experiencing our daily life. Mars in Cancer has us really looking at what in our foundation needs to change, what works, what doesn't work, what are we willing to fight for? What is home to us? Is it a place? Is it people? Is it experiences? It has us rethinking and gaining new perspective on what gives us a feeling of security, nurturing. What is a place or an energy that allows us to relax and be ourselves? What is our private time like? Does it need to change? Is it working for us? Does it support who we really are? So, with all of these energies that have been swirling together for a few weeks now, if not a couple of months, we're really reevaluating where we are and where we want to go and what has to change in every aspect of our life in order to move into that new direction that better suits us. And this Aries, the second Aries new moon with the solar eclipse on the 19th and 20th, depending on where you live, is the culmination of that. That's where we come to that decision point. It's at 29 degrees, which is a culmination of everything that we've been experiencing. Where that's where we decide what direction is for us, what we really need and want, and we start to move towards that. We step onto that new path. There will be a video, let's see, I'm hoping to have that up tomorrow. There will also be a video about Mercury retrograde, which will happen the day after the new moon and solar eclipse. So the energy this week stays pretty much the same, other than, of course, the moon moving into Aries on the 18th, which is Tuesday. And when the moon moves into Aries, that's really going to give us that passion, courage, fearlessness to start structuring and making decisions emotionally and mentally about these changes that need to take place, about what we want to create, where we want to move to, what is the path we need to be on in order to be able to give the world our true self and to live a life that fits that and is what we actually want. Let me look at the degrees here that are happening on Tuesday. Everything is staying so much the same that the energy has been very consistent, other than the moon and a few of the planets that move quickly have moved into different degrees. Excuse me. Again, the allergies are after me today. They were better yesterday, but they're back. Okay, on Tuesday. Now, on Tuesday, we have Mercury at a Gemini degree. That is going to have us with a very busy mind, a lot of thinking, a lot of going over all that's been coming at us, all the information that we've been getting from our relationships, our work, our experiences. Everything that we've been going through lately has been feeding us information that will help us realize what things need to transform in our lives to bring us more balance, more enjoyment. And Mercury is really going to have our minds probably very busy on Tuesday. Venus is at a Virgo degree, so it's going to be analytical. The moon moving into Aries and Venus at a Virgo degree. It's going to be easy for us to separate what is an emotional perspective from what is a realistic perspective. And that's key, being able to mix, to combine positively our feelings and emotions about our circumstances and what we want to do, being able to combine that with an analytical, foundational, realistic plan to make these changes. We can dream of a million things, but if we aren't able to form it in a way that allows us to move forward on it, then it doesn't do us any good. So, excuse me, these planets in their setup on Tuesday and Wednesday are really going to help us start to get clarity on how to build a plan that we can put into motion as we get through this Aries new moon and solar eclipse. Now, Saturn on the 19th, on Thursday, let me move my little calendar forward. On Thursday, Saturn will sextile the North Node. Now, we know that Saturn is about building solid structures and foundations that last. It's about getting serious, getting our ducks in a row is a good way to say it. Now, with Saturn sextiling, sextile is a great energy. It's very pleasant. It's the backyard barbecue energy. Everybody's happy. Now, with Saturn and the North Node in a sextile, things that are meant for us, things that are destined for us, paths and people that are supposed to be in our lives, Saturn's going to help us start forming a solid structure for that, helping us see. Saturn also represents truth. So Saturn will help us see the truth about our destiny, what we want, where we need to move to. We're going to start getting more clarity and solidity in regards to that with Saturn sextiling the North Node. Now, Saturn being in Pisces, this can also help us let go of anything, circumstance, experience, people that perhaps are preventing us from being our true selves and preventing us from moving in that direction that is our destiny. So that's a positive energy. People are very, very reticent about Saturn. It has a bad reputation, but Saturn's actually the planet that really helps us build that structure that supports the life that we want to have. So Saturn's not all bad. Okay, the moon on Thursday will be at 6 degrees of Taurus. That's later in the day because Thursday, let's see. Thursday is our Aries. Okay, back that up. That's later in the day. All right. Now, our second Aries new moon with the eclipse, conjunct the North Node in Uranus and squaring Pluto. That's going to happen on Thursday, the 20th. Now, the moon will move into Taurus later in the day, depending, of course, on where you are. If you're in, let's see, general mountain time. Yeah, so in the afternoon. So earlier in the morning is when we're going to have this new moon eclipse energy. And of course, we're going to feel it the night before. We're already feeling it. It's for a week or so before and after, we will feel that. Now, the Aries new moon, what happens with moons is this new moon in Aries the energy that comes in with it, the things we begin, the things that the eclipse shows us, because a solar eclipse illuminates things, it brings things to light. The things that begin for us at this time will really culminate on the Aries full moon, which I believe is the last week of September. Let me check. So as we move, let's see. Let me check my notes for a moment. As we move through what begins for us on this Aries new moon, and all the changes don't happen overnight. So it takes a little time. As we move through this energy between now and September, I'm sorry, I am looking for that date. I wanted to make sure it was right. Let's see. No, I believe it was September 29th. Unfortunately, I'm on my phone, so I can't Google that. But it is at the end of September, beginning of October. I believe it was the 29th. Between now and then, we're going to move into and begin to implement all the things, all the structuring, the changes that we have been considering and wanting. Some could be very sudden. That is possible depending on how your chart is designed, your birth chart. But for the most part, on the Aries new moon with the solar eclipse, we make a firm decision about what we are wanting and needing. And we get clarity on how to structure that and begin to create it. So between now and when the Aries full moon comes at the end of September, we're going to be implementing that. We're going to be restructuring and building these new experiences, new relationships, making changes. And like I said, some could be very sudden since Uranus is involved, but there is so much positive energy in all of this, so many trines and sextiles. Again, it depends on your chart, but from what I'm seeing as we move through the summer, there's some very positive energy supporting these transitions, these moments of making decisions, of changes, this transition and restructure that we're going to be going through. And it's all for us being able to become authentic and in return start to live the life that we have always been meant to live. We've all been through so much stress and struggle for not just the last few years, but for many people, quite some time. And this is an energy that's going to release that and help us really see the value in ourselves and give that out to the world confidently. And in that, we're going to meet the people that we are meant to connect with, that help us move down that path, that bring the positive experiences into our lives. And we're going to start having the experiences that support the life path that we should have always been on, that we want for ourselves. So with all of there's a lot of astrology out there that creates fear and gives a negative picture. And of course, it is always possible that things are not necessarily pleasant. Bad things happen, difficult things happen. That is life without fail. But I don't like to promote or create that fear and anxiety about big changes. The changes that will be coming to us almost always just kind of flow. You may not even realize that they're happening, and suddenly you realize your life is very different and very much more positive, that people have left your life, but new people have come in that are so much better at supporting you and accepting your authenticity. So I don't want anyone to think of Saturn and these eclipses and everything that's coming as something negative. Change and transformation is part of life. And when we are prepared to recognize it, we can often move through it much easier and without being fearful. That's what I hope the information that I give helps people do. And to use it to our benefit, to realize that if we are presented with an opportunity that feels more like something we want in our lives, we can move into that with confidence as opposed to being worried or fearful that it might be a bad decision. If you know what's moving through the energy in the universe, it can help you make those decisions with more clarity. Now, let's see. Let me look at what's coming. Yeah, the energy is very much the same as it has been until we get the moon in Aries on Tuesday, and then, of course, the new moon and the eclipse on Thursday. Now, on Friday, the next day, is when Mercury will go retrograde. Now, I will have a video, like I said, on that specifically. However, just a quick overview. Mercury retrograde is nothing to fear either. Yes, it can cause glitches with anything involving communication of any kind, reception of information. It is problems with gadgets. Mercury in Gemini can represent all types of cell phones, computers, our cars, things that we use daily. So it can be those things, but with it being in Taurus and going retrograde, this is really a time where we can take this Venus and Gemini energy where we're reevaluating what we value and who we value and how we place value on things, relationships, ourselves, our work, our creativity. Mercury going retrograde in Taurus is going to give us an opportunity to review those things, Taurus's value of all types, as well as relearn. Mercury is the mind, learning, receiving information, and giving information. It gives us a chance to relearn how we communicate, how we think, primarily about value and ourselves and our relations with others. We get to rethink and relearn how we process that in our mind as well as how we communicate it. And that is so that it fits this new perspective, this new authentic version of ourselves that we're building. Because we can't move into showing the world our true selves and into a more positive experience if maybe we are still negatively speaking to ourselves, or if we are not able to communicate our needs and our feelings clearly to others. So Mercury retrograde in Taurus is going to give us an opportunity to relearn how to think and communicate to ourselves and others in a way that suits our authenticity and that new us that we're moving into. And it also gives us an opportunity to revisit what we value, how we value things. So again, there will be a bigger video on that up hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's the week in a nutshell. It is all about getting really clear and in touch with not only our feelings and emotions about, but our analytical, realistic, mental picture of what we need and want, who and what we value, how we value things, what is important to us, and what do we need to do to move more towards that in our lives and let go of things that don't fit us or that are frivolous or that don't support our authenticity. Because again, the foundational energy is our moving into our authenticity so that we can finally move onto the path that's meant for us and meet the people that are meant to be in our lives and have the experiences we're meant to have. So I hope this will help you move through the next few days with confidence and calmness. Don't forget to breathe. If things get a little overwhelming, just take a breath, stop, let yourself relax. It's a lot of big energy out in the universe. Also, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, stressed, frustrated, your mind's just too busy with Mercury being at a Mercury degree in Taurus, I have a channel on YouTube. The name is Gemini Moon Tunes, 3 separate words. I do frequency music there that helps. It's more contemporary, modern style of frequency music for the most part. Frequencies for relaxation, for clarity, to help just give you a moment to relax and breathe. Most of the tracks are 3 to maybe 8 minutes long, so that you can just stop and take a break if the music works for you, if it's something you like. Listen to it, clear your head, take a few breaths, and then you can start over. So visit that, see if it's something that you like. Again, it is Gemini Moon Tunes. Um, I think it is listed at the end of the video as well. I'm going to make sure that it is. I'll put the link in the description. And again, thank you for joining me. I hope that everything that I bring to these videos helps create calm and relaxation. Very much lately, I've noticed a lot of astrology that likes to promote fear and anxiety, and that upsets me terribly. I think that's one of the things that gives astrology a bad reputation. Um, these are energies that we experience. We have free will and choice as to how we use them. And I always try to promote the positive side of all the things that are possible with these energies, because those tend to be the more predominant experiences for everyone. Um, I'm looking over at my notes to make sure there's nothing else that I want to share before we go. That looks like everything you need to know for the next few days. Again, join me please for the Aries new moon video, the Mercury retrograde video. Also, I'm going to be incorporating a little more tarot into these readings. I've been asked by several people to do that. So I'm going to move into more tarot within the astrology readings. So I wanted to let everyone know, in case it's something that you don't necessarily like or you're not interested in. I just wanted to kind of give the heads up that there will be more tarot involved. I'm looking to move to a format where I give the overview of the energy and then do a tarot astrology, if you will, reading for each rising sign within the videos. So I hope you'll join me for those. And again, thank you, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week.